Hello everyone and welcome back. Much sooner than expected, mind you, to Stardew Valley, my attempt to make the entirety of Stardew Valley in Planet Zoo. The turnaround for this one has been extremely fast because, well, it was extremely easy, so don't get used to expecting these things weekly. This time our main targets were the backwoods road to the mountains and the bus stop. As I said in the last video, these are small areas, but there was the potential for some pretty complicated interaction between some extremely important elements. There's our actual park entrance, there's the car ride to take us out to the desert, there's the minecart to link us all around town, and there's the fact that the bus stop itself needs to connect two separate existing areas, so getting our position right is imperative. And it turns out there was not a single hiccup with any of this, not a single one. I guess I could have tried to build Pam's bus instead of just using the pre-built, but vehicles look horrendous built out of regular materials, and I'd rather go with aesthetics over realism in this case. The road did require an overpass to allow guests to access the other side of the road, but that was always going to happen, and I think it looks nice. As for the vehicles, it turns out that track rides in Planet Zoo can just clip through anything, so I can just run them directly through each other and through solid walls without needing to build actual tunnels everywhere. I will obviously improve this initial entrance, but since it may move around a little when it has other stops to get to, I'll hold off on that for now. I suppose the areas didn't link perfectly since the shortcut required too much length to reach the ground, so I've had to add a little turn at the end, which isn't exactly a devastating alteration, and again, I think it looks nice. And thanks to the farm and bus stop maps not actually linking up as they appear to in Stardew, I had an invented connection zone between the two which could be however long as it needed to be, so there actually wasn't any effort in positioning the two areas. Brainless. The habitat zones are simple squares in areas of open space. Easy. Apparently our wombats aren't cool enough to get people to actually use the backwards path yet, so I may need to add an extra thing in this little gap to get people flowing, but I think once the giant connection sequence between here and the carpenter's house exists, that should cover it anyway. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to show. This isn't a very long video, is it? Because nothing interesting happened during the construction, I don't even have any building clips to splice in and talk about. So... Back in part 1, I promised the horrible vista from near the hat shop would look better once I built out the events area, and I'm pleased to announce that I was not a liar. I was tempted to freeze the place out and go with the ice fishing version, but my reference image was the flower dance, so that's what we're using. And, oh no, this is easy and fast too. It's almost like when I don't have to build anything, making squares with a few trees in them takes like 10 minutes or something. I tried to increase the difficulty in using a walkthrough exhibit, but since the penguin enclosure still has a wall out in the open, it avoided the complexity which can come from having nested habitats which come with this type of thing. I did add another guest spawner here since having two operating at once spreads people out a bit more, making for neater crowds and maybe even some saved frames. On that topic, you may have noticed I've also tried to be stingy with the grass spam, purely for the sake of getting the videos to run nicer here. It doesn't take long to spam grass everywhere, and it looks way better, but it really does halve the frame rate when I do it properly. Please tell me if you'd rather the frames, or the barren ground looking less drab. It really is important for making random flowers feel less like static objects placed haphazardly, because, you know, they are. And, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this spot. This is still a really short video, isn't it? And I've already done my suggested bonus area. It's not like I could do... Oh yes, we've got another one. This time it's the Secret Woods, which are again suffering from the whole I didn't have to build anything issue, so again, it didn't take that long to make. This one has an interesting shape, which at least required some proper planning, and I must say, my gridding out for this whole map is basically pixel perfect. This perfection actually worked against me a little bit, since the idea was that the forest be surrounded by bears lurking in the shadows. But tragically, they wouldn't fit around this outer edge, so we've got northern bears and southern bears. These enclosures are absolutely massive, so it's not the worst thing to get some more variability into at least. Outside of that, I've put in some exhibits and guest resource stuff to lure people right to the edge, and I think the gorilla as the statue is a bit cute. But like the others, this one is largely just spamming trees, so it is really just another case of, hey everyone, look! So, hey everyone, look! On the plus side, this means that the bottom left side of the map is now feature complete. Again, the stuff in the middle is just trees, so it's not particularly interesting stuff to look at, but more importantly, it is finished. So, hey everyone, look! And that's really all there is to say about today's episode, which really wasn't much. My attempts to save frames looked good in real time, but really haven't come across at all in my recordings. If everyone watching this just showed this to 10,000 of their friends, and they showed it to 10,000 of their friends, I'd be able to run enough ads to at least double my frames next time. Piece of cake. Jokes aside, next time should have a lot more things to cover, with the town itself being the next target. This place is huge. It's the same size as Cindersap, but with about a dozen buildings, an elevation change, multiple entrances, a river, and most terrifying of all, a playground. It's going to be a big job, so it may take a while, but I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and apologies for the frame rate.